Hello and welcome. I'm Emily Key here with Oak Mountain Media, somewhere with someone we all know very well. Ms. Shults, thank you for coming in today.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having me.
So to get started, what drew you into education? What did your path to teaching look like?
So I had, when I was in high school, some really stellar English teachers who really taught me how to talk about literature and how to love books and love reading. And that continued on into college, where I had some really great literature professors. So I jumped around majors quite a few times, but ultimately landed in secondary education because that's the thing that I wanted to spend most of my time doing.
Wow. So you kind of knew from the start that this is what you're going to be drawn to, or?
From pretty early on, I knew I wanted to work with teenagers. I actually wanted to go into youth ministry for a long time. And then there wasn't really a major for that, and it didn't quite, there wasn't a clear path to it in a lot of ways. So because I had such good teachers, English teachers who made me love this subject, I decided that's what I wanted to do.
Wow. So you also sponsor climbing clubs, something not a lot of people know about. Could you explain that a little for me?
Yeah, so High Point Climbing over there on 280 has what they call the Interscholastic Climbing League, and ICL for short. And they sponsor climbing clubs at all the different local schools. So we were one of the early adopters of it, between us and Vestavia and Briarwood. And then it's slowly gone to schools like Spain Park and Mountain Brook and other schools around the area. But it's open to anyone in grades 9 through 12. It's very loosely structured. In previous years, there were 4 competitions a year where we would meet up, and the competitions were based around skill level of different routes that people climbed. It looks a little different this year. The competition that they're trying to do right now is sort of an ongoing turn-in scores as you go, and not everybody show up at once and climb. So like everything, it's adjusted, but it's a lot of fun.
Making do. So besides climbing club, are you involved in anything else in our community?
So I am a member of Independent Presbyterian Church on Highland Avenue. My husband and I, before the pandemic, we liked to go out to eat at new restaurants, and we actually just had a baby in July. So we're not involved in a whole lot else except
understandably
having a baby. So
of course, time consuming. So a lot of us know you as an honors English teacher, but you actually teach a new program called AP Seminar and Research. Could you explain that for people who don't know much about it?
Right. So it's a AP capstone is what it's all under the umbrella of, and it's made up of 2 separate classes. So I teach the first class, which is AP Seminar, and Ms. Gallups actually teaches the second class, which is AP Research. So it's designed around research skills, and students get to choose the topics of interest to them and do an in-depth research project and presentation. So in AP Seminar, which is the one that I teach, we spend a semester learning the skills, and then the students do one group project that's made up of writing and presentation, and then one individual project also made up of writing and presentation. So the next year in AP Research, they do essentially a one individual year-long research study. So it's the equivalent of what a lot of graduate students do, but it's really great real-world research skills. But you can decide what topic you're interested in to go on and research.
What are some of the topics you've seen a lot of, or reoccurring things people would like to research?
A lot of people tend to be inspired to what's going on by what's going on in current events. So this semester we've had some students look at police fundings and issues along that arena. We've had some students look previously at issues of body image and the culture of like aesthetics and how we're viewed through our social media lens and that kind of thing. Got one group looking at technology in education right now. So we're using so much technology in education, and what's good about it, what's bad about it, what the costs and benefits are. So yeah.
So you've already mentioned a lot of the effects that COVID-19 has had on your day-to-day life. Can you kind of give me a rundown of what your day pre and post-COVID looked like?
So I guess pre-COVID, I am an early bird. I like to get to school early. and get a lot of work done before school. And then I would always start my classes with 10 minutes of reading. So reading is really important to me, and having students have opportunities to choose what they want to read is important to me. Post-COVID, one thing that's different is now I have a baby to get ready at home. So I get here a little bit later than I used to, but I'm still on the early side. And I, kind of manage my remote students, like check in with their grades, figure out what they need to be doing, and then get everything set up for my in-person students as well. So with COVID, we're relying a little bit more on technology. I can't sit next to you for an hour and help you with a paper. So we've had to adjust that curriculum, and I'm looking forward to the day when we can return to some of the things that
hopefully
that we all love.
So what keeps you motivated in teaching and outside of school throughout all of this?
So I really love just engaging with people. I think people are, for the most part, really cool. There's a lot of good in the world, especially right now. It can be kind of hard to see that. But I was home between COVID, getting out in March, and then being on maternity leave. I was gone for 7 months, really just at home. And that was a blessing in a lot of ways, but coming back and getting to be here with people I really like to be around and students that are really interesting and that I like to be around, really it's just people that keep me motivated.
So you started your first 9 weeks virtual. What was that like coming back?
So, my first 9 weeks, I was on maternity leave.
Yes.
Right. So I was just at home figuring out how to have life. So I had an awesome sub, Miss Shoemaker, who really, really helped me out a lot. So when I came back, y'all were already back to 5 days a week. So that was a kind of easy transition. Now I had to learn Edgenuity and learn how to pick out the remote students. So it was a crash course in everything, but I had some good help along the way.
Well, that's awesome. That's a lot to keep on your plate.
Yep.
And so everyone's least favorite question, if you had any good advice you would give students or teachers watching, what would you say?
So I saw this in the notes that you sent, and so I was actually thinking about this. One of my favorite authors is a woman named Brene Brown. And she wrote in one of her books, she talked about how would your, speaking personally, how would my life change if I went through life assuming that everybody around me is trying the best that they can. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But if I maintain that posture, that everybody around me is doing the best that they can, it makes life a lot more enjoyable and a lot easier for me. So I try to take that posture to assume that the people I interact with, the ones that I like and the ones that are harder to deal with, I just try and assume that everybody's doing the best they can. And that's pre-pandemic and during the pandemic. And that really, really helps me.
Wow, I don't think I've heard that before.
Yep. Brene Brown. Look her up.
So thank you again for coming in. I'm really glad that we got to sit down and talk.
Yeah.
For Oak Mountain Media, I'm Emily Key. And to keep up with us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, look up @OakMTN Media.